Well, son of bitch. Son of a motherfuck face. If it isn't Validation Boy with his first live stream of 2018. Of course, the intro will be edited out. Those of you who are watching live right now, I know this seems weird that I just start and pretend like that didn't happen. But you know how it goes. You know how it goes. It's not going to exist. It's not going to exist after I edit it out. But it's great to have you guys on here. We got Martin Liedtke in the house, who I said was pretty much the best, well, who I said is the best flat earther on YouTube. And I said that in a prior pre-recorded video during my latest suspension. Let's get it over with. First five in here. Eugene 12 coming in at number 1. Great to have you. Coming in at number 2, a true hero around these fucking parts. Daylight, Ohio. A real man's man. In at number 3, some fuckbag. And then really in at number 3, we got actually HSP Gang. And then at number 4, we have Tim Osman. And then at number 5, we have Tinfoil Hatter. We're also joined by Ed Upside Down Head. We're joined by Martin Liedtke, who I declared to be, in my opinion, the best flat earther on YouTube. And we are joined by we're joined by Twitwit. Good to have you. Ed Upside Down Head, man. He was my second to last show before this one. He was my guest. And you guys need to check out his stuff. This guy shreds the guitar. Ed is one of the most lovable people I think I've ever had on here. All right. Daylight, Ohio is talking about the lighthouse. He says that he doesn't think we're seeing the lighthouse in that footage that's up for debate between Anthony Riley and Nathan Oakley and Tim Osman. I personally don't want to get involved in that. I didn't follow it all along. So, I mean, I know I could jump in and have an opinion on it, but is it worth it? Is it worth it? Because, you know, Validation Boy talks about flat earth conservatism. Flat earth being a belief system that you live by. It's a state of mind. It doesn't even necessarily require proof. As ugly as that sounds, I know that's not going to be popular with any flat earthers out there who are taking themselves way too fucking seriously. But it is the real truth. Okay? When I go outside, I can look at the earth and see that it to myself and believe that it's flat. Okay? So that's all it takes for me. And because of the fact that it could very well be flat, there's a huge possibility that it's flat. Because of that, I'm already separated from most of society and most of their stupid troubles, most of their stupid lives. You know, I'm already separated from that. I'm already above it. I'm already at an advantage. You know, like I was listening to Pockets of the Future, and he was talking about the Super Bowl and how everybody gets around and watches it and takes it way too seriously and stuff. And he's like, don't you people have anything better to do with your lives? But of course, he, hypocritically watches and covers football all the time. But the Super Bowl was so depressing for him as a fan of football that it deflated him. He kept saying how it sucked the life out of him. And that's what it was. It's about a cult. You know, I guess regular season football games are a lot more real. You know, and I know college football is a lot more real than that, even though that's fixed too. But you know, high school football, that's a real game. It's a real game. And you know, I'm a fan of pro wrestling. And that's a performance art. It's sort of a sport, but it's not even really a sport. So I can't sit on here and harp on people for being fans of sports, because sports is very entertaining to watch, you know. It keeps you young, to follow along, to know what's going on, to see the competition play out. It's highly entertaining. Twitwit says she's first. She is not. We've been joined by someone named Dad Bod and the Keyboard Carls. But yeah, that shit's deflating, you know, and things kind of get depressing around the beginning of the year, you know. Daylight House says halftime show was a joke. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. I haven't gone back and watched it. I was actually working during the Super Bowl, so people were just handing me cash while they watched the Super Bowl. And every once in a while when I was passing by TV screens, I'd check in, and I was amazed at how close the game was all the way down to the very end. And it's just, I mean, we've known that they've done the whole 7-game thing with the NBA Finals for years now. And every once in a while they do a sweep or they do a 5-game series or something like that. But for the most part, it's over the last 20 years. It always goes to Game 7 magically. It always magically goes to Game 7. And then the fourth quarter of the football game, and there's always a game-winning drive. Hmm. 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 Sunset Lights 100, a new guest, says sports are about entertainment of the masses and the ball, i.e., the globe sports. Yeah. Hmm. Weapon of mass detraction. Weapon of mass distraction, says Martin Leakey. I think that's what you meant. But yeah, I watch pro wrestling, but I know it's not even really even a sport, even though it's more athletic than most sports. And it's a lot more painful than any sport that exists out there. A lot more damaging to the body. So I can't harp on it, but the world sucks all the time. Things do get dark around this time of the year, like I was talking about. So let me tell you guys a little story. Nothing to do with flat Earth. Everything to do with God. And remember, like I always say, you do have to humble yourself before our Creator and praise our Creator for every single thing that the Creator has done for you in your life. Some people could take it even further and praise Jesus Christ for all the protection, for all the opening of the eyes that Jesus Christ brings. And that's why I was looking at things. Okay, so on Saturday, early in the day, I was talking about this on Timmy's show last night. I'll link that below. Me and Tim Osmond had a great chat on his channel last night. It was an honor to be on Tim's show. But let me tell you guys the story here. This is how I spent my Saturday. So, a lot of you know, I've read through the Bible several times. I'm somewhat well-versed. I could tell you what's going on in a lot of it. If you ask me questions about a lot of it, I'm bound to know most of what you might be referring to. I decided to look up. Well, I was watching Hans. He was talking about everything in the museum is fucking fake, and then furthermore, everything in Egypt is all bullshit. Look at the pyramids; they look like they're poured with concrete, and they really do. They really do look like they're a concrete pour from maybe a couple hundred years ago, and they're chipped away the way concrete does. And it could all just be Disney. It could all just be plastic, man. We really don't know. It could all just be Disney. And I tend to agree, or I tend to be really quick to take on assumptions like that things are total hoaxes, total conspiracies, total bullshit from the government. I definitely tend to want to go down those roads. I'm very biased, very, very biased when it comes to hoaxery, especially from the media, especially from figures of authority. It's just the way that it's a fun way to live your life. And a lot of you people out here know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the way to be. You got to keep your eyes open. You can't buy into anything. You got to be suspicious of fucking everything. You got to be skeptical of every single thing in culture, in history, in society, in people's behavior. Okay. I'm just taking it easy. It's my first live stream of 2018. I'm back, surprisingly. I had been banned. The ban was lifted. I'll tell you that story later, too. All right, anyways, let me tell you about this rabbit hole I went down, guys. Okay, so he's talking about everything's fake. Now, I started thinking, okay, our Bible's in the pyramid. I don't even know if I got that far yet. Hold on. I started thinking about, well, the Rosetta Stone allegedly validates, guess that's the word, yeah. Allegedly validates the pyramids and everything about Egypt. Okay. So I thought, let's look at the Rosetta Stone. Let's look at who found it. So I try to look up who found it. It's this guy. I don't remember. Brouchard. His last name is Brouchard. So look up an image of Brouchard. The guy does look like a female to male transgendered individual. It's very possible. I'm not saying that he is, but it's very possible. And he has his hand hidden away under his jacket. It's the hidden hand. It's got like this whole Napoleon vibe, hidden hand, Freemason looking thing going on. So I'm already suspicious. So it turns out the stone was discovered in 1799 by this guy. All right. And he had been studying geometries, mathematics at college. And then he went and served in the French military. And as soon as he went into the French military, he kept getting promotion after promotion. He kept getting the easy jobs where it was all about expedition stuff and science stuff. And then every time he did anything, they would just put him in charge of things. And then while he's on watch, leading an expedition in Egypt, near the city of Rosetta or something like that, he's digging out some old crusty tunnel, and he finds that magically. And it supposedly helps everyone translate this ancient Egyptian into this Greek and into this other language. It doesn't really matter. So I'm thinking to myself, yeah, right. These hieroglyphics and stuff, they could have just made all of it. This guy could have just created this whole thing, which is quite possible when you start looking at all the different angles that could play into this situation. So then I looked up, okay, why aren't there any appearances of the pyramids in the Bible? Because there isn't. And geez, I should have thought this out before I tried to go live and talk to you guys. But I'm just chilling. Doesn't really fucking matter. Just follow along if you want. I'm just being validation boy, and you guys can have a good time listening to me. And we went down this fucking rabbit hole. All right, let me think. I started thinking about why aren't the pyramids in the Bible? And I ended up hitting this site where there's this author, and he's talking about his book. And in his book, he claims that in the ancient Hebrew text that comprises the Bible, the Old Testament, the story of Exodus does not take place in Egypt. There is no place Egypt. Apparently in 300 BC, or whatever it was, 30 BC, 300, whatever, the Greeks translated it into the Greek, and they added in Egypt, according to this author. Now, I don't read ancient Hebrew, so this author's published book, his claims could be completely fallacious, but I'm just assuming it's true, that in the ancient Hebrew text, the place, of Egypt and the characteristics about it are just not listed in the Old Testament. So the Greeks added this stuff. So this stuff might not have existed. So that's 300 BC. Okay. So within this, by the 1700s AD, when we know the Masons were out fucking around, creating things like the United States of America. All right. By the way, the 22-year anniversary. The 22-year anniversary of the founding of the United States is the year this guy was sent out to lead this expedition, where he ended up finding the Rosetta Stone. In the 23rd year anniversary of the United States of America, the Rosetta Stone is found. I'm not sure if any of that matters, but I know that the Masons are tied to the United States history, founding of America and all that stuff. And it's also suspected that the Freemasons are the ones who went in the 1700s and built Egypt. Then it was all built then. It's all Masonic structures. That's why it's not such a. That's why it's really not that big of a mystery. How did ancient humans build this apparently modern technological stuff? Because it is modern. It's from the 1700s. It's Freemasons. So the Rosetta Stone has to be bullshit. And when you think about it, it might just be. Okay. It might be that the Freemasons, well, it might be that Greek history butts right up into the 1700s and that the earth is not even nearly that old. And that the ancient Hebrew text is true. And when the Greeks bastardized that text and added in Egypt, they were trying to confuse timelines. Martin says, now the Rosetta is Bollock's mate. Hmm. Twitwood says, and all the Egyptians of that time kept the secret. Right? Exactly. So it's really starting to look like Egypt was fake and it was built in the 1700s. And it might just be that there was no Dark Ages and that history just is just as close. There was no Dark Ages, you know. The Renaissance was just really the Masons fucking about, tossing about, you know. And the ancient Hebrew text is the real history, and it only goes back 6,000 years, right? It goes from Adam, you know, down to Jesus, down to Noah, Moses, all of it, and that those stories are probably, well, I want to believe that they're probably a much more accurate description of Earth or human history on Earth, at least. And I would think that maybe these Greeks, in defiance of those people, in defiance of that story of God, of the creation, bastardized it and added in Egypt. And then once you have this Egypt versus the Hebrews, and they paint Egypt to be this elaborate place that was far beyond these, like, you know, silly backwater tribes, the Hebrews and stuff like that, the people of God, who are not today's modern Jewish people at all, by the way, guys. um, Martin Leakey says the last 1,000 years before that it was wet. Yeah. So these people were trying to hide it. They were trying to bastardize it. And see, the King James version of the Bible is merely the English translation of the Greek mistranslation of the ancient Hebrew text. It all looks like one massive agenda to hide God, to hide the Bible, to hide the truth of the Bible. It really does. Egypt itself and everything about it. Tinfoil hatter. All right, guys. I'm going to change topics now. I know I'm putting everybody to sleep. Sorry about that. It's just a neat rabbit hole I went down. I mean, I could get into it more later. I was thinking about making an extended video on it, you know, and showing all the research that I had done, but I just kind of touched on all the key points there, and the payoff of the fact that there's an evil agenda. There's an evil group out there that hates the story of our creation. They hate God. They hate our God. I don't know if it's your God, but I know it's my God. I know it's Martin's God, you know. But anyways, I'm going to also take a break real quick because I'm just relaxing. I'm so glad to be back. When I come back, I'll talk about the whole ban. I'll talk about the whole thing. And I'll also talk about another recent development, the wild claims of a possibly completely insane YouTuber out there. Okay, so I'll be back soon. All right, guys, we're back. I'm gonna change subjects. I know I was putting everybody to sleep. I'm so grateful to have. I got 19 viewers at the moment. It's a very humble little tiny podcast. It's the deepest, darkest corner of YouTube, and furthermore, the flat Earth scene on YouTube. Because yeah, it's still alive. It's mostly dead, but it's still alive. And I'm glad that it's a big rotting carcass at this point. Honestly, I really am, because it's all about being conservative with your belief in flat Earth, because it's a belief, it's a dogma. So D Marble, Mark Sargent, anybody out there, anybody who's a flat Earther, Jaron, anybody, you're all dogmatists. Okay, and there's nothing to be ashamed. There's nothing to be ashamed about when you call yourself a dogmatist, because it's truth. It's real. There's no inherent fallacy in dogma. Okay? And you guys throw the word dogma around wrongly. You've been doing it forever. Okay? Maybe one day all you people out there, all of you, will see what I'm talking about. You'll finally realize what I'm talking about. I've been saying this all along. There's no fucking inherent fallacy. Okay, it's okay to call yourself a flat earth dogmatist, because it is a fucking belief. You can't prove flat earth, no matter how much you fucking love it. And guess what? The Globers can't prove their globe, no matter how much they fucking love their stupid ass Gaia, Mother Earth, pregnant belly ball globe. So there ain't nothing to worry about. Okay? Leads me to one of these questions I see here. Oh, hold on. Anyways, like I was saying, there's no problem there. Okay? You need to understand that flat earth is a way of thinking. You got to be conservative about it. You don't need to go blabbing into the world. You definitely don't need to be making stickers that go on the sides of shitty rockets. Okay? You don't need to be making billboards. You don't need to be having conferences. You don't need to be selling t-shirts, really, even. Okay, well, maybe you can, I guess. I don't know. It's an inward journey. Stop being retards out here. All this drama. Think about all the drama, people throwing out accusations at each other for this, that, and the other, because of the fact that they're involved in flat earth, and they want to have these different aggressive approaches to things. And all these lines start getting crossed, and it's just such a gray area. It becomes about people's gains and shit. Well, you need to gain from your knowledge of flat earth. Yes, you definitely do need to gain, but you need to gain on a spiritual level, not on a fucking monetary level. I mean, come on, man. Just gain on the spiritual level. Just talk about it. Be it. Don't sit there and flirt with it and try to make money off it and become a flat earth whore, like some of the people I was mentioning earlier. All right. Don't be a fascist. Don't be a fucking brown shirt. Definitely don't be a fucking brown shirt in some other flat earthers fucking army. I said this in another video, but it should have just all been fucking live. So, I got shut down. I'll talk about that in a second, but let's see here. What's what this guy say? Unseen Shadow, a brand new guest, whoever that may be, says, VB, your thoughts on Math Powerland's bullshit on his imaginary Antarctic expedition, please. Yeah, it's 100% bullshit. I mean, you can't sit there and give money to other people as part of your journey on flat Earth. Flat Earth is flat Earth. You research it for yourself, and then you believe it or you don't believe it. There's no need to be donating money to anybody for anything flat Earth. Okay. Now you could donate to other YouTubers because they bring you all kinds of other truths, or they bring you flat earth truth, this, that, and the other. I mean, yeah, there's nothing against that. There's nothing wrong with that. Excuse me. I don't have nothing against that. But I just think that if you want to be true, and you want to see flat earth for the extremely powerful thing that it's supposed to have been, powerful inward turning device that it is, you know, introspective fucking device that it is, excuse me, then you got to have a little bit more respect for it than just, sitting there and trying to hawk some shirts, you know. Tinfoil Hatter says Powerland's a genius. He just needs a good manager now, yeah. Powerland's a bullshitter, only interested in selling his shirts. Smart people are earth-shape agnostics, says Unseen Shadow. Wow, interesting. Interesting. Math is never going to Antarctica. Yeah, that's the truth. Everybody knows that. See, that's the funny thing, is that everybody already knows that for a fact. 100% fucking fact. That's the way history is going to play out. There's no way around that, okay? There's a lot of expeditions that are being planned by people on YouTube, and I don't think any of them are going to come true, okay? But anyways, yeah, so I got my live stream abilities back, surprisingly. My prayers were answered. All of a sudden, one day, I was just looking through my old videos, and blam, the video that had been banned or taken away was just back. It was just public, and it was fully restored. And then I waited a couple days, and I looked at live streaming, see if I was enabled, and I had the green light with 0 strikes. So somebody at YouTube considered what I said in my letter back to them, reviewed it, and decided, this guy's right. He doesn't specifically, do anything harmful or threatening or anything to anybody. He's just analyzing social behavior and openly saying that he's speculating. So, I don't know. I guess I really fucked some people up with one of my live streams, but whatever. I'm not on that kick so much anymore. I made my points there. I might touch on it here and there again. You never know. But it's true. Andres is in the house. Good to see you, Andres. Yeah, so I got my Unseen Shadow says, thanks for addressing that, VB. You're one of the few sincere content creators in the truth community. Well, geez. All right. Well, thanks. Unseen Shadow is really like sucking up over here. I don't know. Andres, what's up? Well, thanks for saying that. Well, the thing is that I think that, the whole global gynocracy problem is a lot bigger. It's a lot bigger. It's a lot more part of our lives than a lot of you guys out here realize. I mean, if you're watching anything on a TV or movie screen, there are elements within it that are unavoidably. It's like the foundation of everything. It's kind of the foundation of everything. If you look at life through that filter. I don't think I could turn my channel into something that would be obsessed with that, though. Can't. I have to keep it spaced out, distribute it evenly. The skepticism. Okay, so someone reviewed it. I got my shit back. I'm very humbled by it. I'm so glad. I don't know how that worked. It did. Okay, and I also promised I'd touch on the subject of a content creator who was the nemesis of many, many a flat earther and many a non-flat earther even, and was well known, but he was, he who cannot be named. And he harassed and harassed and harassed, and he went away a couple times, and he came back, and the last time he came back stronger than ever, really, really trying as hard as he can, and it still didn't get over. So he disappeared entirely, mysteriously disappeared for an extended period of time, and then reemerged in yet another whack-a-mole, pop-a-mole, whack-a-troll account. and came out with live streams. And in that live streams claims, in that live stream, he claims that one of the top names in Flat Earth, one of the top personalities in Flat Earth that a lot of people hate on because of their popularity, because of their notoriety, that person had been paying him to play this role of a guy who had been a hardcore flat earther and then turned hard against flat earth and just became like the biggest drama queen of all times. But it was all just very forced and contrived, because there was times when the guy was in the midst of his drama, and people would say things to him that essentially should have shut down his entire gimmick at various different points, and he just basically blazed right past it, ignored it like it wasn't said, and kept the thing going, And the guy wants to claim that he was paid to be this nemesis troll, but really, it's really the guy's last ditch effort to try to pin some kind of scandal on that more popular flat earth opponent's channel, or a person on their character, on their persona. So it's very, very transparent. We all know who I'm talking about. I don't even have to say the name, and it's very transparent, and it's very childlike. And at one point, I was even thinking that the dude's woman was probably like, hey, you know what? You make an ass of yourself day by day by day, day after day, month after month now. And you do it harder and harder every single day. And people start hating you more and more and more. And now people are even starting to hate me. And you're obsessed with, I'm speaking from his woman's perspective here when I say all this. And she probably said to him, and you're completely obsessed with this. You're completely addicted to it. And you don't pay enough attention to me. So she probably put an ultimatum on her. And that's probably why there was the disappearing act to begin with. And then when he started to come back, it was he probably begged her and said, oh, let me do this one last thing. And it's his swan song, maybe, because what else does he have left? So again, try to do this. And all it's going to do is take guys like, CTS, or not him, excuse me. Truth shall set you free, guys like that. All it's going to do is take guys like that and the very low, lower channels, and give them a false rabbit hole to go down forever and ever and ever, and stack onto their or just add it onto their list of accusations against this particular top flat earth personality. That's all it is. It's his obsession with that top flat earth personality, and it's imaginary games. We've been joined by John LeBone in the chat, who says, hello, losers. How are things? John LeBon says, is it true that VB has quit the MGTOW scene? I heard that there are no trees on the MGTOW earth. No, I'm not really MGTOW. If anything, the MGTOWs would label me a purple pill, but they'd be inaccurate. My pill is so red that it's invisible. It's just that I actually have a Nawalt unicorn. And that's the whole purpose of MGTOW. The whole purpose of MGTOW is not settling. I was MGTOW many, many years ago before I found what I have. And what I have is a permanent thing. So that's the whole purpose of MGTOW. Some will consider me the ultimate MGTOW, Anyways. But yeah, John LeBon, you've been creating good stuff lately. You're on that Bitcoin kick. I personally don't care about Bitcoin. Never looked at it. Don't care about it. But before your Bitcoin series, you were putting out an excellent series of videos. I really appreciated watching them. John LeBon says, I heard VB say that only cucks marry women who have been with 5+ partners. Honestly, well, in today's modern age, I guess that's something that would be expected, right? But like technically, cuckery is, if you're number 2. and go that hardcore, And like marriage is a big fucking deal. I think that if you're gonna get married, you should probably do it young, and it should be one thing, and it should be like a religious thing, and you only get married that once, and you do stay together for your entire life. Other than that, you go into normie population culture where you like everybody. You have relationships before you get married. Let's say that's the modern society. John LeBon knows his MGTOW material, and he says apparently women lose the ability to pair bond once they have been shared around. Strong argument there. We don't have to go MGTOW though. Wow, there's so many things I could say right now. I'm not gonna go there. Why are you trying to trigger me up on that stuff, John? Okay. So that's the current state of affairs. We have a last ditch effort going on by a guy. And dude was kind of drunk during the whole thing. I haven't watched it yet. I don't know if I'm actually gonna sit through it. I've heard enough people talk about it to know what it is, and I can just look at it and look at who made it, and I know what the situation is. Maybe it is a swan song. Hey, we can only hope. But I mean, life goes on. Got my ability to live stream back. Flat Earth is sinking away. Sinking away. Maybe it's because I don't subscribe to Nathan Oakley anymore, and I never subscribed to Mark Sargent, and I haven't watched Jaren videos in years. I feel like, or any top flat earthers, because I try to limit the intake of that stuff. None of the stuff that's being talked about by any of these top channels, and none of the hyping they're doing for their money making, dealings is anything I haven't heard before. Years and years ago, honestly, or thought about myself, but just never talked about or made videos about, or some of it I wrote about in comment threads on unrelated websites. JLB knows the nature of civilization. Civilization has a 50-50 compromise. That it's a symbiotic thing that happens between men and women. It's a very complicated issue. I've addressed this in detail before. I'm not going to go there tonight. John LeBon must like it when I talk about that stuff. Wow. Anyways, got me distracted, man. I'm trying to wrap up the show, honestly. I'm really just trying to wrap it up. I just wanted to reemerge and tell everybody the great news. Talk about a rabbit hole I went down. Really, I kind of flubbed that up. I might even cut chunks of it out. Who knows? It's all casual here on Validation Boy live stream. I think when I come back from my next show, I'm going to try to have an interesting guest. Maybe I can even beg. Maybe I can even grovel at John LeBon, who you blocked me on Skype, John LeBon. I mean, like, get out of here, bro. Just unblock me. I don't harass you, bro. Maybe I'll beg John LeBon to be my guest so I can have some interesting conversation. We can like, sort of patronize each other, but then end up being really cool with each other because I have too much respect for him to let him sit there and be a jerk to me on an extended basis. John LeBon says he won't block me. But I only blocked you for spam. Why? Because I sent you links to my fucking videos that I made, and I thought, oh, maybe John LeBon will like seeing my little 4-minute video I made. Excuse me, bro. Yeah. After I politely asked you to stop. Yeah, that's true. So anyways, I won't do that to you anymore. You know what I'm about. But anyways, I tried to ask you something. I was trying to do that research on that Egypt stuff with that Rosetta Stone. I really could have used your input. But we could get on. We could do a show, you and me, John LeBon, on Validation Boy live stream, and we could go hardcore into the red pill of the MGTOW mentality, and we could talk about the female nature. We could do a whole extended show on that, man. In fact, it would probably be a mind bender, and I think that it would be like an amazing thing to have on my channel. It'd be like a great honor if I could get John LeBon to come on my show and talk about the principles of male liberation. Also, Ed Upside Down Head and Adam Moyer. You, me, and Timmy should do a show. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that'd be awesome. In fact, I'm available pretty much any fucking day except for a couple. So I'm gonna be in contact with you guys. I'd love to have Ed up in here too. Oh man, that'd be fucking perfect. We could do a whole show really strictly based on that. If you guys wouldn't be a bunch of fucking little cucks now and be a bunch of little fucking blue pill little manginas and be all soft and shit, get all softy and shit on me and start fucking white knighting and don't get down. Well, see, here's the thing though. We got to keep it where I'm not getting community guideline strikes. So we have to talk about female nature in a civil way. Other guys are able to do it on their channels. They don't get their fucking videos blocked. You know, I didn't say anything in that one video that was truly like a hate-filled or anything, or hateful, or hate speech or threatening to anybody at all. John LeBon says you're smoking away the best years of your lives. Nah. John LeBon. The reality is that Timmy, VB, and John LeBon could spit more truth in 10 minutes than the potato tarts can in 5 2-hour shows. Oh man. To what do I owe this? All of a sudden I've earned the respect of Timmy and John LeBon. They loved me all along. You fucking bastards loved Validation Boy all along, and you know it. You try to play fucking games. You try to make me doubt. Get out of here, bro. Come on, guys. I know you fucking bastards love me just as much as I love you. Your candy asses. We are going to do a fucking show together, and we're going to talk about things on that level. We can really get down. We don't have to talk about this flat earth bullshit. Flat earth, we can even talk about it. I don't even care. You guys can rant. I'll let you get away with whatever the fuck you want to get away with. You know, Validation Boy's wide open to all that bullshit, all that globe cuckery, that gold-plated vagina worship that you fucking globe heads. I'm going to cuck your souls out for. You know, to what do I owe this? No, Christopher says, so VB craves validation. No, it's not that I crave validation. It's just that I validate the fuck out of these guys. And I do that because I know that by doing so, it validates me. Just kidding. It's not about validating Validation Boy. The thing is, we're going to do this. We're going to do this big. You know, I know I'm an odd character. I know that sometimes there'll be some really good conversations going, and then Validation Boy will butt in with his 2 cents. And it'll be something wise, but there'll also be some strangely misworded sentences mixed in there and some sidetracked fucking language errors, because Validation Boy sometimes is, as John LeBon says, smoking my life away. But for the most part, BB can fucking hold it together. I think it'll be the ultimate show, but we can't have too many fucking people up in here. Okay, I think we could have John LeBon, we could have Timmy, and we could have Ed Upside Down Head. I think that would be the dream panel. Gold-plated hatchet wound, says Ed Upside Down Head. John LeBon says, I love people watching my videos and leaving comments. Oh, I love it too. Oh, man. Anyone who says otherwise is a fucking liar, says John LeBon. It's true. Tinfoil Hat says, validation is all right. It's perfectly legit. Bit conceited. Shit, man. No. Okay, no. That would be the dream fucking panel. But we have to get down on the shit like that, okay? But we also can't get Validation Boy a fucking community guidelines strike, man. Maybe we need to have Twitwit in the room, like on the show live, so that we have like complete fucking plausible deniability, and we had a female panelist right there. You know what? Maybe she'd be down. You never know. Get Lori Gale, maybe. Who knows? Oh, he has to get back to work. It's gonna be good, you know. Okay. So you think validated by talking about it. If others are validating it, it's all about validation, everything in every direction for everybody. I'm just the validation boy, you know. Man, I'm gonna leave the link to fucking my conversation with Timmy last night. You know, it was good times. It was good times for me, even if Tim may have been patronizing me a little bit here and there, but not really. You know, he's really just being honest, and we're having an honest conversation. I understand everything he was saying. I don't feel like I was being victimized. I don't feel like I was being trolled. I knew that he likes to spout off about flat Earth and stuff like that, and I have total respect for that. It's no big fucking deal. I'm mature enough, you know. I understand Tim. You know, there's wise minds out here like John LeBon, like Tim Osmond. And I just know that all the other flat Earth, I'm so unconventional when it comes to the fucking flat Earth scene, you know. And everyone's like, God, how can you be cool with those fucking guys, man? Like the worst guys. No, there's like the best guys, you know. And Jed too, believe it or not. And so is Dan Pratt, you know, and so is Daylight Ohio. All these people are great people. They're just awesome people in their own way. Okay. Land Without Judgment is in the house. VB, my brother, another awesome person. You guys need to. Oh man. All right. So that's the deal. I'm gonna try to organize that, man. Oh God, man. I'm just too hyped on it now. I'm too hyped right now. It just sounds too good to be true. All right. Once again, I'm gonna leave you guys with 20 something plus viewers. It's been a fun night for me. I'm back. All right, we're gonna do it big. Validation Boy Livestream is back. This has been a Validation Boy Livestream, February 5th, 2018.